Hi, welcome to another Minute with Matt. We are back in Esther, and today we're in chapter 7. This is the tale of the second banquet. And it's interesting, Esther is literally having a banquet that is set before her in the presence of her enemy, or her enemy singular. Um, we wonder why she didn't initially just ask the king when he offered her anything he wanted up to half the kingdom, why she didn't just ask for the Jews to be saved then and there. But we have to remember how strict the Persians were about the laws not being changeable. And at that point, the king had made promises to Haman, and so he had a very, very strong claim, and the king was not aware of what happened with Mordecai or any of that stuff. So he was much more likely to side with Haman at the beginning of all of this. But after that first banquet, we saw yesterday the events that unfolded as Mordecai is led around the streets of the city on the king's horse by Haman himself, leading the cheers and the applause for him, which is just sweet, sweet revenge and very just desserts. Esther's playing a long game here, whether it's her own sort of strategy or whether it's something that God showed her to do, we are not told. But now the king knows about what Mordecai did for him, and Haman is exposed by this. And so when Esther asked the king after the second banquet for the favour of the sparing of the Jewish people and saying the plot against them, the king is kind of angry about it, and he says to Esther, "Who is he? Where is the man who has dared to do such a thing?" Esther said, "An adversary and enemy, this vile Haman." And then we see the king ends up turning on Haman and having him impaled on the pole that he built to have Mordecai impaled on. There's an old proverb that he that diggeth a pit shall fall in it. And that is certainly true of Haman. He dug a pit to trap Mordecai, but he ended up falling in it himself. And that's that's very, very true. This is just, the just desserts of this are they're incredible. And I just wanted to point out his name, Haman. When the king asks, "Who is he?" An adversary, an enemy. This vile Haman. In the Hebrew, the actual language would be a Satan, because the name Satan means adversary, one who contends against. And there is very much the spirit of Satan all over Haman in the plot to destroy and wipe out and annihilate the Jews. And I just want to remind you again of what we said about how the enemy that we fight against is not flesh and blood, but we fight against the authorities and the powers and the principalities and the wicked rulers in heavenly places. And very often with things like this, there is an evil spirit behind the evil actions of people. And we have to recognize that and counter it. But we also can rejoice in how God's justice prevails and that no one will be allowed to go too far without having some kind of downfall. Eventually, they all get caught out. They all get brought up short. They all get brought to judgment. And that's it. I think. I think that's it today. But we see that, I just want to, just a side comment really, is that Esther is quite crafty, or whether that's the intention or whether that's just the effect of what she does. But the king, when Esther's talking to the king about Haman, he presents him in a certain way, which seems to imply it basically gives the king a let out. And because of the new circumstances, the king is much more able to get on board with Esther. And yep, that's it. Sorry, I'm tired. Anyway, God bless. Have a good day, and we'll be back with Esther 8 maybe tomorrow. Okay, bye.